Always enjoy our weekly visits with our guy, Alan Griffin. If you're with us on Q Sports Talk, he's right there. If you're not, he's still right there, but we'll talk with Griff. You guys were cooking there for about 10 minutes last night. What happened? What happened after that? What's the read of start versus finish last night?
I'll be honest, this is a make-miss college basketball season, definitely for us. And when we don't make shots, we have no shot.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, we did some really good stuff. When you go back and you watch the film and you look at the execution on offense and you look at what we tried to do, what we game plan for, we drew it up to a T. It's just, especially in the second half, we missed. We went 3 straight possessions. We got 3 wide open shots, and we missed all 3 of them. And it wasn't like a guy that was off the bench, or it was one of our key players. JJ missed a couple. Mm-hmm. I think Chris missed one that was wide open. And Chris played a great game. But, it comes down to those possessions. Like, we're not a team that's going to beat anybody by 20 points. So every possession matters and all possession matters. And you know what? And when you can go 3 straight minutes with not score, that's a killer for us.
I mean, you must know that. Like, you're up 16. You guys know your team, right? You're like, okay, we're probably not running away and winning by 30. So, like, what are you thinking at that point? Like, hey guys, we gotta still push it here.
Yeah, we got to keep scoring and we got to keep getting stops. Obviously, that's very cliche, but and you know what? They did a good job of speeding us up a little bit in the first half when they made the adjustment. They went to their 1-2-2. And we got a couple, wide open shots again, but it was just sped up. It wasn't like in our rhythm that we had in terms of running our offense and stuff like that. And I think that was a major key for us, going into the half, only up, single digits.
Yeah, and it was 16. It was, I think, 7 at halftime. Yeah, then obviously, they played great in the second half. Did it feel like, I don't want to say inevitable. What's the feeling there? Because you've been in so many of these games recently, right, where it's just, okay. Right. Like, does that feeling set in during the game, or are you able to push that out while you're still out there playing?
No, that feeling never set in until after the game. Yeah. And then you look back and you're like, damn, like, you know what I mean? It's just too many of those moments. And, for the average fan and the fan that's listening, like, yes, we know we're losing. Right, yeah. We know we're I
think some people don't think you're aware of that.
I don't think so. Like, obviously, just with the reaction around town is like, oh my God, like, they just think that we go about our lives and we're just living in this fairy tale land. And no, it's a nightmare. Like, for you guys, just as much as it is for us too, right? And we have families that we got to go back to, and they got to take the blunt of how we feel and what we're feeling and so forth. So, again, yeah, we're mad too. Yeah. We're upset. We're angry. Every emotion that you feel about this team, we feel it. But you know what? We're in it day to day. We're spending the hours that we spend in order to keeping these young men trying to, fulfill their dreams. And you know what? We're just coming up short. I'm sorry. Like, you know what? If you guys out there that want, I'm sorry. I just don't know what else to say to you guys. Unless you want to come to a practice and see how we prepare. Come to, our office and spend the 10 hours there and seeing the preparation that we put in every day. But again, like, I'm sorry.
Anyone meet you for coffee last week?
No. Everybody's scared. They hide behind their computers.
Griff's still available. He'll get a coffee with you on Friday.
I will meet anybody, anywhere within drivable distance to sit down and talk about anything that they have and that they want to get off their chest. But a lot of people just want to hide behind computers and be scared.
All right, so take me into the locker room after the game last night. Like, is it anger, upset? Like, what are people's reactions after that where you're like, man, we could have won this one?
Upset. Because you know what? It's not even, it's when, these guys recognize when they have even a bad practice. They'll come up to you and say, hey, coach, man, I ain't have my best day tomorrow. But like when you're trying to win basketball games, you got to be consistent, right? And I just think that, in some aspects of what we got going on is the inconsistencies. And part of it is that we're playing against some really good teams too. You can't be inconsistent playing against good teams because, again, they're going to beat you.
Yeah, I've heard the other teams try to win the games also.
Oh, for sure. No. They just lay down and just, we beat ourselves.
And, we look at this team. It's not a perfect roster, Griff. We know that, and it leads to you trying to find workarounds, right? Like,
right.
How tough is that to balance during a game where you know that, all right, if we put this group out here, we might be deficient here. If we put this group out, we'll be like, how do you balance that during a game?
Yeah, it's too many of it.
Yeah.
For us, right? Looking for matchups for certain guys. And as a coach, when you have to shuffle around and try to make, we can't put these two guys on the court because then we get, they're not very good offensive players, but, better defensive player. But then defensively, our two better offensive players. It's just too much of that for us. And again, the word that comes up is consistency, throughout offensively and defensively. And we just got to kind of, next year and moving forward is try to be as consistent as possible on both ends of the court.
Red always loops back to defense. It feels like I don't think it was after. Yeah, I think it was after the Carolina game on Saturday. He said something to the effect of like, our problem is not putting the ball in the basket. Like,
right.
It's looping back to defense. What do you see when you look at we've seen man, we've seen zone. What is it on defense that has been such a struggle, I guess, for 40 minutes?
I think when you look at playing defense, there's a want in defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the basketball society, everything is based off of offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is, and they try to make you score more points. So like kids growing up nowadays is, it's about, I want to be the best 3-point shooter I can be. I want to have the best handles. I want to be able to go to my midi, but it's never I want to be the best defender. And that's not a knock on our team. That's just right now in basketball. For me personally, I knew when I played here for Coach Boeheim, I knew that if I didn't play defense, I wouldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a I went into it and hey, listen, I need to be able to play defense, right? And then during my time, you had defense meant a lot more. I think right now it for everything it's about offense, but and you got to have a want to play in defense and sometimes and that's for an entirety of a game, not just possessions, right? You got to do it for 40 minutes, and sometimes that's not our thought process.
Yeah, I think yesterday, you look at the beginning of the game, we saw a very aggressive defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Physical steals, and maybe that's not there at the end. Was that your view from the bench?
Yeah, definitely. And you got to do it for 40 minutes. We talk about doing, being consistent for 40 minutes, and offensively and defensively, and obviously we talk about defense. You got to do it for an entire 40 minutes. Now teams are going to score. Right, you're not going to hold a team to 0. I don't think there's not a team in the country that's held a team to 0. Right,
you don't often get a shutout.
So it's just one of those things where it has to mean more to us, and and sometimes it's also just closing a defensive possession with a rebound. Right, I don't know how many times the Diaz kid went in there, tipped the ball out, and made something happen where they were able to punish us. Not securing the rebound on a defensive rebound. So it's stuff like that keeps beating us, and we haven't figured that out yet. And that's not to throw anybody under the bus. I just think us as a team.
There's so much talk about, and Red keeps getting asked about this too, about effort. Is that, in your mind, Griff, is it effort or is that different? Is it attention to detail, being locked in? Is that different, I guess, than,
definitely,
effort?
I think if it wasn't effort, if it was an effort thing, I don't think we come out the way we came out yesterday, get up 16. I just think that is a attention to detail thing and a concentration level, for 40 minutes. And I just think that that's just what it is, especially for this team. And I've been a part of teams and, my coaching career that has been here. And it's just one of those things where, and until you as a player make the concentrated effort to say, you know what, I'm not going to give up an offensive rebound today. That's all I'm going to do. And I don't care about scoring. I don't care about whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm just not going to do that because that's hurting our team. And until you make that up and until you put that in your mind, it don't matter what you do, what you draw up, what players coach draw up. It's going to come back because some of those stuff is, the habits, right, of the individual.
And I think we saw last night, and this is not an effort thing. I mean, you look at Eddie, and he's been playing very well, but he inherently he's not a rim protector like
Right.
that. That's not what he is. Pittsburgh obviously had multiple guys that were able to accomplish that successfully yesterday. How much does that? We look historically at Syracuse, especially in the zone. You had a million of those guys. How different is that in a man this year for the most part, where your primary middle guy is not, and Jair's only 6'7" or whatever. You're not blocking shots. That's not what this team is.
Yeah, it's been our Achilles heel for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The last shot blocker that we had was Jesse Edwards, who helped our defense tremendously, especially inside. But he struggled a little bit too. I mean, if you don't have rim protection, it's hard. You better have some damn good guys that keep guys in front of you, right? Yeah. In front of them, excuse me. And it's just one of those things where, I think moving forward is one of those things that, us as a staff, we have to address, right? And that's just point blank. Last year we had Malik was able to play, guys on the perimeter, get steals, took people out of ball screen coverages, throughout the season. But then once the second half of the season, especially towards the end, teams just changed and they started to post us because Malik was only 6'7", 6'8", right? And now it changed the dynamic of our defense, which plummeted our defense at the end of the year because teams started to get to the free throw line and so forth, so forth. So it's one of those things that we have to address, as a program, and hopefully moving forward we can get somebody that can alter some shots, block some shots, and make some stuff happen around the rim.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously what we've talked about in the past when it comes to the portal and Alex Klein and everything that he's doing. I think a lot of people were intrigued about your freshman for next year, too. Like Sadiq White, I know he's known for his defense. I don't know if you'd call him a rim protector. If he's that size, is that a role you can even play as a freshman?
Yeah, he'll be added plus to rim protection.
Like a more secondary.
Yeah, secondary rim, coming over, blocking shots. And please don't quote me on this because I'm done with all digging up stuff that I said 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever.
Old takes exposed.
Old takes, yeah. He athletically, he's a like Jeremy Grant type.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's very good for those that don't know.
Long, wiry,
bouncy,
but I am not calling him Jeremy Grant, okay? I just want everybody to know that.
Alan Griffin is called Sadiq White Jeremy Grant.
No, I did not.
Write that down.
No, I did not. Okay. I'm just saying, Brian, please don't do that because, I also want to address something too, like really quick, and just because, something that I said, and I did say, get your popcorn ready, right?
You did.
I did say that, and I'm a man, and I'll come up and say that. And you know what? Who wouldn't be excited about their team?
Mm-hmm. It was a great quote last year.
It's a great quote. Like, and I was excited about this year's team. Sorry. Again, sorry it didn't happen, but God, people killing me because I said get your popcorn ready. Well, what I was supposed to say, we're gonna be an average team, we're gonna stink, and that's it. Then you guys will kill me on that too. Enough. It's just one of those things where I was excited about this year's team. And I thought that we had a really good team, and we do have a good team. It's just, unfortunately, it's just not panning out the way I thought at the time. But you know what? The one thing I would say, and I will continue to say, we got good kids that's still fighting, that's competing. And you know what? I'll go down with this team regardless of what, and whoever say anything, I don't care.
We just need a little more butter and seasoning on the popcorn.
Well, a little salt, a little
shake. I mean, people hate to hear injuries and excuse, but man, Chapa's now out. How's he doing? What's
he's
deal?
Good? Good spirit. Obviously travels with us to Pittsburgh, and really good teammate. Cares about his guys, and wanted to be out there. And obviously, unfortunately, couldn't play in the game, but hopefully we can get him back here soon. A week off would help. It's not one of those deals where I think it's a lot of time. Okay. It's going to be off. So, yeah.
Speaking of the idea when you were talking last year about popcorn and adding it to the injuries, how much this year have you guys gotten to do what you thought you were going to be able to do? Like with, JJ's out, then Donnie's out, and Chance, barely played at all this year and all that stuff. Have you ever really put what you thought it was going to be on the court?
We had it for we thought we were trending that way. We had 5 games when, we were able to play with Donnie, with JJ, and our whole team. And we were working Chance back as well. So it was those practices in those 5 games, which it wasn't the greatest sample size, but, like, it was, we thought we can be able to do some really good stuff offensively. And we thought, as the year went on, we can get to a point where we could play 2 different lineups, where, especially defensively, where you can switch a lot, and with Donnie playing the 5 and stuff like that. So it was a lot of things that we envisioned, but obviously due to injury and unfortunate situations, we couldn't do it. So we had to pivot. And you know what? Again, pivoting, our guys continue to work as hard as they can, and they gave us their absolute best in terms of effort. Definitely, 100%.
The Chad always asks me about Chance. How's he doing? We see him there, but
good.
He's been gone for a while.
Yeah, good. And unfortunately, I can't, because of the HIPAA stuff. I can't speak on Chance, but we just we wish for the best for him, and hopefully he can get himself back to being able to compete at this level.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because he's a good kid and he tries hard.
We keep hearing great things about all these practices, and we've just never gotten to see it. We've never gotten to see it. So hopefully, sometime somewhere we get to see Chance Westry play basketball like that. All right, Griff, you mentioned it. No game this weekend. You play next Wednesday. NC State, right? That's a massive game. You don't like to think about it, right? But the possibility of missing the ACC tournament is there if you guys don't finish out your. How much does that weigh on you? I mean, clearly you guys want to go to that, right? You want to be there.
Yeah, definitely. Contrary to those who don't believe we shouldn't go there or shouldn't be there, again, it was something that was said and was brought to my attention about we should just, fold. We're no quitters. We're not folding, regardless of what anybody believes. They're not there every day with our team and with our guys, and we're not going to fold. We don't have quitters. We got a really good NC State team coming in here that's well coached. Coach Keats is one of the best coaches, and he's going to have his team prepared to try to win because they want to play in Charlotte too. So it's going to be a big game for us, and every game is a big game for us. We try to take one game at a time, but we're no quitters. We don't fold to nobody unless they tell us it's our last possible game.
What do you think that's going to be like for the 3 teams that don't make it? I mean, that's never been a thing before. That's got to be brutal, right, if you're one of those 3 that doesn't get to go.
Yeah, definitely. And in my college career, I've been there. I've been one of those guys that have been done that early, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. And that's why you bring that energy. That's why you still coach to the very last moment, is because you don't want to be part of that. But if it does, then obviously we get a head start on moving forward and trying to get this next class situated and get the best possible kids that we could possibly get.
All right, last thing, Griff, how do you handle this weekend here? Are you giving the guys a little time here? Are you recruiting? What do you do here during this rare weekend without a game?
Yeah, somewhat recruiting. I know our head coach will be out doing some stuff, and we'll be, and some of us will be around the guys and doing some individual stuff. But we'll give them a couple of days as well, so that they can kind of get themselves together and.
Little mental breaks never bad.
For sure. I mean, Bill Self said it the best. He said, you know what? This is a great time for our program. They need to get a break from us, and we need a break from them, and it's needed. I don't care if your team is number 1 team in the country. This is the dog days right now. February, March is the dog days, and this is the crunch time. So it's much needed.
It's the shortest month on the calendar, Griff. It's might be the longest month of the basketball season, right?
Oh, for sure, especially for us.
All right, so next week, next Wednesday's a game day. So I guess you won't be in studio next week, but we'll talk to you.
Yeah, definitely. you know what? Hopefully I can be here, but I won't be here. You know, I'll be getting ready for the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can stop by on the way if you want. But,
yeah, maybe it is on the way. I passed through here coming from my home.
We'll figure that out next week.
All right, definitely.
All right, man. Griff, always good to see you. Yeah. It's our guy, Al Griffin. With that, we'll take a break. Phone lines open the rest of the way here on this Wednesday, 315-437-7644 here in this hour, brought to you by William Mattar. Back after this here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Hey, this is former